I had worked on that sprinkler before, the one down there that I just showed you that has the flex line on it. And I realized it had a flex line, and I assumed that line went all the way through from there along the patio here into this sprinkler. But luckily, I didn't start digging up from this end. If I had, I'd have dug this whole thing to discover it was traditional white pipe until just the last couple of feet down there. So I started at that end digging, and then I found where that white pipe is. So it saves me, I don't have to dig any of this line up in here. I'm just going to connect to it down there where the shovel handle is, and we'll go from there. What happens on these sprinklers is as the turf grows and gets taller, they will start to recess. You see here, this one is sitting probably at least an inch or two down beneath the current grass level. And so I'm going to put risers in and adjust it. I'm actually probably going to set this to be, maybe an inch above the current turf level so that it'll allow for grass turf to increase without interfering, just low enough that the mower doesn't hit it. And so when I set the riser in there, that's what I'm going to do, is actually set it up a little higher. I'm replacing all three of these fixtures. What happens on these is over time, the dirt gets inside, and just with use and popping up and down all the time, there's a little gasket there around the base of that inner tube that pops up from water pressure, and that will get worn away to where you get a lot of leaking. You'll know because inside of here, when the sprinkler's running, this will be just full of water, and you won't have as much pressure broadcasting. It'll actually get to a point where the poor rainbird can't even spin anymore. It's hung with sediment in it, and it just doesn't have enough pressure to hit the little return arm on it to make it. You'll come out and see your sprinklers just stuck in one spot, just shooting. That's a combination of lack of pressure and that gasket down inside of that bottom pipe that extends up and down, that telescoping pipe, has gone out. So I'm going to just replace these. When you dig them up, don't be tempted to unscrew them until you get clear down to the bottom to where the that feeder pipe is with the T on it, because if you unscrew them while there's still dirt, it's going to drop down into your lines. You're going to have dirt incursion in your lines that'll also clog your sprinklers. Before you bury anything back, pressurize your lines and test all your joints for leaks so you're not digging up later. This is that line that I ran for my new circuit out here for the two bushes that didn't have enough pressure anymore. I showed that video the other day. I've got the valve control in there now, and it's run, but I haven't turned it on to pressurize it yet, so I'll be doing that soon as well. One piece of advice: if you're going to glue to old pipe, it'll be kind of dirty, yellow, and oxidized. You want to be sure and clean the area you're gluing to good with either emery cloth, sandpaper, or some coarse steel wool to where it's bright white again in here, and then use the purple primer that softens the plastic so that the glue can adhere to it, and then put the glue on. Otherwise you could have leaks when you're gluing to old pipe. So this is the new riser that'll go at the base of the pop-up sprinkler. You see you have a lot of height options in here. You can cut this off at these different threaded sections, and to get the right height adjustment to the top of your turf. I will cut longer than I think it's going to be. That way I don't waste it. These are about $1 a piece at Home Depot. And then cut down shorter and shorter, trial and error till I get it right. You need to remember to allow extra depth for your threads on each end. And I'm going to wrap these with Teflon tape. Anytime you're wrapping with the Teflon tape, it only takes really 2 wraps around the threads, and you always want to go the direction of the thread. So this thread is clockwise. If you're looking on the end of it, it goes clockwise. So that means that when I wrap the Teflon tape around, I'm going to start on this side and go clockwise this direction. The reason that's important is so when you screw your fitting on, it will actually tighten the Teflon tape down. If your tape has been put on backwards, this front edge will catch in the threads, and as you're screwing it on, you'll actually loosen up and damage that tape, and you won't get a good seal. So I've unscrewed this housing counterclockwise. You can see it here, it's out now, and I will probably use that bottom riser there as a beginning point for my height, and then add another. In this case, I showed you with the yardstick across the top. I probably need to add at least 2 inches to that one for height. So that would give me a good idea of what to do. So these caps just pop off. This one has been stepped on so many times that I actually glued the backside here with plastic JB weld, like a plastic 2-part epoxy, and it's held up pretty good. But this sprinkler's just tired. It needs replaced. you'll notice on the inside of it, it's just loaded with crud. This thing actually, to lift it right now, it feels like it's got a pound of dirt, leaves, and water down in the base of it. It's probably, you can see all the leaves and stuff down in the bottom there. It's on little bugs crawling. It's pretty exciting stuff here. It's probably a miracle this is still working at all. The roots get down in there, the dirt and the mud, and then, like I said, it's probably the gaskets are all worn on it down at the base where it pops up to where it can't really spin free anymore, and it doesn't have enough water pressure. This thing will fill with water instead of broadcast out the way it's designed to. Time for a new one. This is a trenching shovel. It's a great device for keeping your trench narrow and not having to dig up more than you need to, especially getting in the bottom of it to remove dirt, to deepen it. Problem with these is they're not real good at going through the sod, especially if it's dry like mine is. There's not much width here. I had to change from my sandals to my boots, and I was still pressing so hard on that little narrow top there. I was working on a good pace of plantar fasciitis, damaging my arch. I think if I was a welder, I'd probably weld a wider platform out on this, maybe to here. I'm actually thinking about just getting some angle iron and screw and bolting to the part that I step on, widening it about double the width that it is now out to here, and then I'll have a good surface to push down on with my feet without going to the hospital. Just as a comparison, you can see the difference in the surface here for your foot to press down. Of course, with the flat blade instead of a point, you need more surface there to kick at, but that's kind of the idea. So this old nipple is down in here pretty tight. The way I'm going to get it out is with this. This is a sprinkler riser removal tool. Sometimes they'll break off down in here and you can't get a hold of them to get them out anymore. This goes down in the middle. It's got a reversed star pattern on it, so it'll grip the inside of the pipe, and then you can kind of press it down in and screw it out. I used to try to dig the old ones out, and I would damage these threads, have to dig up the entire threaded tee and replace it. So this is a wonderful tool to have if you're going to do much sprinkler digging. It's got two different widths on it, two different sizes. So I added 2 inches to the old nipple on this one, and you can see now it's only going to stick up maybe about an inch above the grass, and that'll give it some room to grow. Otherwise, you're always weed whacking a bowl down in here so it can come up and down without the grass interfering with it. It's probably going to happen eventually anyway, but this is a good start since it's new and being replaced anyway. Again, remember to steel wool your old pipe to get it nice and bright white so the glue and primer will work. You want to coat both surfaces with the primer, the pipe and the inside of the joint, and then after that you want to put your glue on there, on where the primer is, and also on the joint. And I like the glue that'll set even if it gets wet. It's water resistant because there's always seems to be residual water in these pipes even when they're dry. So the other tip I'd have for you, I learned this from a plumber the other day, is once you're done with your glue, it tends to want to dry out, air gets into the cap, store it upside down. The glue will run down around the cap, and it will airtight that to where it'll last a lot longer. Good luck. Also, when you put your fittings on, turn them, half a turn, quarter of a turn, side to side. That'll help the glue settle in there, get the air bubbles out, make sure you have a good contact. Another trick, instead of zip ties that rot and break, I am now using, places where there's extra stress, hose clamps to hold my stand pipe to the support pipe. This particular hose clamp was not big enough diameter to go around, but you know, you can combine hose clamps together. You just take them apart at the tightening nut, and as you see on this one, I got 2 hose clamps that are piggybacked end to end, and it gives me enough length on that strap to get it around and tighten this thing up. I'll never have to replace this one. It's not going to rot in the sun.